We dive into due diligence costs. What exactly are you going to pay? Next on the Paperstac Podcast.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida. Welcome to the Paperstac Podcast, where we cover current topics in the note industry, give you tactics for your note business, and talk with industry leaders to make you a better note investor. And now, your hosts, Brett Burky and Rick Allen.
All right, Rick Allen, Brett Burky, back for another episode. It's been a while. Things have been going bananas here.
Yep.
It's been crazy. We really have been, we've been doing a funding round, and we talked to some of our users and allowed them the opportunity to come in and on this round of funding, and thought we'd have like 4 or 5 people respond, and we had like 330, 350.
It was higher. Yeah, it was way up
So
there.
the past 3 weeks have been just like meeting after meeting after meeting, talking, phone calls, paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of fun. So
No, it's been fun.
yeah, people can own a piece of Paperstac.
Yeah.
Who knew that that's like the stamp of like approval.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
like,
cool.
hey, when your users are like, yeah, I'm in. I can own a piece of this. I want it for sure.
Yeah, I remember when I launched the email, you called me, I was like, you sent that email, didn't you? I was like, yeah, and they're just boom, 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 boom. So it was blowing up the inbox. It was nice.
Yeah, that's good. So anyways, talk about the elephant in the room. What happened to your nose?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I got sunburn. That's the sunburned, and then
You look good. I mean, you got some bronzing going on here.
I missed my nose when I sprayed. Like I got the forehead, got the cheeks, missed my nose. But
It's because the eyes are there. You don't want to get in your eyes.
yeah, and so I was outside playing cornhole for all day, and it wasn't even, that was Monday, and then yesterday I went for a jog, and then it was sunny out, and came back, and it just kind of started to
Snowball.
something, and then I'm like, what the heck is it? I don't even know what it is. I think it looks like a zit, but I might be totally wrong.
You can hardly notice.
Oh well, whatever.
Anyways, so what do we got in store today? I guess due diligence costs.
Due diligence costs. We had some good question come through YouTube, and someone was asking, what's the price for when you're running due diligence? And I was like, that could vary a lot in terms of what you're getting, but we just wanted to kind of break it down to a snackable, what is possible and what's it going to cost, or at least price ranges based off where you go with, whatever.
Right. So most of the time you'll hear people say they're spending between $400 to $600.
Yeah, that's a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can be, but it just depends. It depends on how deep you want to go. It depends. Are you doing the work? Are you paying somebody to do the work? Are we looking at compliance reviews? Or are we looking for, what are the different levels? Are you trying to securitize this and you're really diving in there? It's going to be more expensive. If you're just ordering, BPOs and O&E reports, $250 covers it. You throw some tax reports on there, another $50, maybe $300. It's kind of the standard thing that you're going to get in every single one of these is a BPO,
Right.
and a title report.
Right.
So title reports are going to vary between $9,500 out to
$9,500.
$95, maybe $100,
$200,
$200 up to depending on how deep you want to go. If it's $150, $160, right? In a BPO, it's kind of the same. $85 if it's in a city and you can get somebody on, no problem. Or if it's more rural, we just had somebody quote us $330 to do a BPO.
Why? Where was it?
It wasn't even that far. It was just, people are like, no, nobody else can do it. I'll do it for $330. And so we wound up reaching out to the Bag Network. Dickie Baldwin came through, and I think we got it done for like $130.
Yeah,
it's like $220. I was like, man, that's great.
Yeah.
So those are the two standard ones. Then you've got tax reporting, where you can have somebody go in and do the in-depth tax stuff. Most of the time, the title report will cover it, but you can do a more in-depth tax reporting, lien searches, $50. And then it's like sort of that next layer is are you hiring a third party to review collateral?
Right.
Right. So on Paperstac, if you're doing it, we throw in a collateral verification, which is just verifying, look, are they original documents or not original documents?
Right.
But you can get really in-depth on your collateral review. I know Casey Wilson offers a collateral review for, I want to say it's $130, something like that, where they'll dive in and they'll do a full-on, they'll go through each piece of the collateral file, verify the chain of title, verify the chain of allonges, and then go through and look for misspellings, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, if you spend $250 and then you add them on for another $130, you're, $380. Right there. If you had some title report or some tax reports or some lien searches or anything else there, you're right around $400. So then there's even another layer on top of that.
Okay.
Right. So then there's companies like AMC or Infinity, Richmond Monroe, I think does it, Orion, where they'll get in there and they'll really do a deep dive. They're checking for like high cost loans. They're looking at the servicing records, right? So we did it one time where we hired Infinity. So we were buying 2 loans up in Panama City, or one of the loans was in Panama City. It was like 18 months, 24 months after Hurricane Michael blew through there.
Gotcha.
And so had a drive-by done. Somebody looked at the outside of the house. House looked good from the outside, It was like, okay, it looks pretty good. We got into the servicing notes and saw that like there was a hole in the roof and a tree had fallen on the back side of the house so you couldn't see it. Right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't know all that. I just turned it over to Infinity. They went through the servicing notes. They did all the stuff that Casey Wilson does by look through the collateral file, look for gaps, and then they have a rating system on how they rate, like critical, super critical, red flag, it's going to blow up if you buy it type of stuff. And that was one of the ones where by looking at the servicing notes and diving in and really reading through everything, they were able to see, okay, there's some potential
gotchas.
Yeah, there's some potential gotchas there. And then they provided it all in a nice report, and I could look through it and I go, oh, what is this? Let's talk about that. And so it made it very easy. And I think that was like $250 per asset. So, but if you're spending the $250 on, the $250 on the reports, and then the $250 for them to do it, it's like, hey, it's worth it. It's like, either you're going to do it because you're spending the first $250 one way or the other, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're ordering a BPO, you're ordering the O&E reports. Now, do you want to have another $250 for somebody else to go through there, put together a report, look at it? If you're doing one asset, maybe not. It doesn't make sense. If you've got a pool of 1,000,
oh yeah,
that's part of the cost of doing business. Mm-hmm. You're buying 1,000 loans, or if you're doing 100, is it worth $2,500?
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense.
It'd be $25,000.
Yeah, $25,000.
$25,000 on a pool of 100. Even so, it's still worth it. It's worth the $250 because you spend that $250 up front, and it means you don't have to. Let's look at it. Say I didn't spend that $250.
Not all 100 are going to be good to go.
Well, say we didn't spend that $250, and I bought that loan that had the back of the house had fallen off. Mm-hmm. And we'll say maybe I had the servicing notes, but I didn't go back that far. Or maybe I was looking in the servicing notes looking for, are they wanting to sign the house over? Are they wanting to modify? And I wasn't really paying attention to that, and I missed it. Well, you could, what's that? A roof is going to be $7,000, $8,000. And that's just the roof. If it's been raining on the inside of the house, and you got mold remediation, you're talking... Is that a $30,000 whoops? Is it worth $250 up front?
Wow.
Yeah. So
that could really
that's why it can really vary. Mm-hmm. I say the hard costs are BPO, figure $110. O&E report, $130. Figure your $250 in up front. I got $250. That's my BPO and my O&E. Probably not going to go over that. You may, but you probably on the the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, it's going to fall in there. Mm-hmm. Under that. And then after that, it's just, do you want to do the work or do you want somebody else to do it?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I recommend, if you're going to scale, you have somebody else do it.
How long did you do it until you sent it out?
We did it for most of the time because that's all I was doing. So I just wanted to look on everything and at least have an idea of what was there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So the takeaway is
we would also, what we would do is we would layer in, like I would do the due diligence up front, and then I would layer in, once I'd done the due diligence, I had somebody going behind me and verifying this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like whenever we would send off the collateral. So
interesting.
if there was any hiccups that popped up, hopefully it didn't pass through two of us.
Yeah, that would suck.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so the takeaway is make sure with each one you're definitely getting an O&E, definitely get a BPO. After that point, when would you make the idea of buying up to the next level, buying up to the next level? What made you say, okay, we got this, now I'm going to get this? When you make a decision?
Really what made that decision for me is I was at IMN event and Rick Bisson kept coming up and talking to me. And finally I was like, yes, I'll just do some with you. And I did it. And I was like, oh, wow. A, it was allowed me to spend my time doing something else. But B, it allowed me to see, like, this is how you can scale.
Right.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you have to have those things. I'm doing a trade right now with a group, and they've got AMC doing it. So AMC is doing everything, and they've got all these exception reports. Now they're looking to try to find out, like, hey, can this be securitized? They want to securitize these loans in the future. But
Right.
for that to happen, you got to have the origination files. So you got to have the original 1003 loan app, all the disclosures. You got to have the HUD statement. You got to have all those layers in there. And, the reality is some of the stuff out there is you don't have all that.
Right.
If you buy an owner finance thing.
Yeah, no way. Interesting. Okay, well, I got some takeaways. So just knowing when to jump to the next level. If you're securitizing it, you're going all the way to the top.
If you're going to, but it's not even if you're securitizing it. If you want to buy it and turn around and resell it and plan to sell it to somebody who is going to be able to securitize it, you're going to want to make sure you have all that stuff up front.
Dude, now, so if I'm a buyer and let's say we get in a transaction and you're showing me that, would I trust your word of what this is in some of those documents? There's certain things that would change.
If you're the buyer?
I'm the buyer.
If you're the buyer, you're usually the one saying, here, this is what you're missing,
Right. Okay.
As a seller, I'm not really doing your due diligence for you.
Yes. Yeah.
So as the buyer, you're the one who's reaching out to the different agencies. You're the one setting up your account with AMC, Infinity, Orion, Richmond Rowe, whoever it is, who's going to do that work for you. Mm-hmm. Casey Wilson, give them a plug too.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it's good to know. I figure starting out $250 is kind of your base, your bare minimum.
And what could go wrong, right?
Yeah, what could go wrong? So that's it. That was good. Appreciate it. We will engage you on the questions if you put them in there and we see them and we're like, hey, that's a great podcast. So
yeah, this actually came from I don't even know which video, but
I don't know. I can't remember his name either. But
we'll tag in the description. But yeah, it was a good question.
Yeah, perfect. So all right, we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see ya.